Welcome back, movie nerds, to the Movie Nerd Jane's YouTube channel for episode 3 of Movie Nerd Talk. If you're new to the new segment of this episode, it's basically something I wanted to wrap up for a while. Is basically we could talk about news and television shows, comic books, video games, novels, and of course, movies, which we're going to talk about today. We actually have a lot to cover today because it's been a couple weeks, and but before we get into that, I want to say right now, it's up on the Instagram Live right now, is my interview with writer and director James Devaney and producer Sarah Biko for their new badass film, One Click. Is up now on the YouTube channel. One Click, their short film premieres on November 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it is going to premiere on One Click at One Click, click with a K, One Click Film on YouTube. So I'm so excited for that. And a special thank you to James Devaney and Sarah Biko. They were both being so generous to allow me to interview them. It was my first time ever doing it, and they were both like cool as fuck. And speaking of two people that are cool as fuck, welcome Chad Eversole all the way back from Florida.
Hello, how are you?
And then, of course, my beautiful, perfect, my queen, my wife is Jessica Eversole. Hello.
Howdy.
All right, and like I said before, we have a lot to cover today, so we're going to get right into it. I wanted to cover in this episode, it's just I haven't, there's so many subscription services and streaming services out there. I haven't got the chance to subscribe yet, but Vince Gilligan's Pluribus or whatever it is, I haven't been able to get back on Apple TV, but I know right now the first 2 episodes have dropped. But I'm gonna wait until the 3 episodes drop, and then of course on one of the Movie Nerd Talk episodes we'll review that. But I'm so excited. Vince Gilligan, obviously one of my, if not my favorite TV show of all time, is Breaking Bad, and of course he did Better Call Saul, and both those TV shows are masterpieces, and I am just so excited for his new show. And it was really cool, Tad. We talked about this, and I told Jess too, because I'm so excited about this. But I did see that they dropped the first trailer with the announcement of Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair is going to be releasing in theaters, and I'm so pumped. I not too long ago I ended up getting my Lionsgate limited steelbook of the 4Ks that they did for it, and nice. Those things, like, I want to be buried with those when I die. That's how much I love those things. But no, the Whole Bloody Affair, it's literally Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. And they're combined together, and they have a new 7-minute animated sequences that are going to be in it. I know they're going to show it in 70mm and 35mm, and then it was crazy, but the total runtime on this thing, it has a 15-minute intermission, but the total runtime on this thing is 4 hours and 41 minutes long. It's crazy. So
Don't sign me up.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about it, but. But nope, but now, like I said, we have 4 movies that we're going to do spoiler-free reviews for today. I'm going to get the first couple out of the way real quick, and then we'll get into the main discussion today. Is we're going to do a somewhat short spoiler-free review of Welcome to Derry, and then we're going to do a spoiler talk with that, so that'll be the main thing. But we're going to try to rapid fire through these. But the first film that I went and seen, this is about a week and a half ago, I went and seen Yorgos Lanthimos' Bugonia. I went and seen that. This would be the 4th collaboration with Yorgos Lanthimos, and the 2nd collaboration with Jesse Plemons. It's a remake of the South Korean film Save the Green Planet by Jang Joon-han, and hopefully I said that right. It's 2 conspiracy-obsessed men kidnap a CEO of a major company when they become convinced that she's an alien who wants to destroy the Earth. So that's a synopsis of the film. Keeping it spoiler-free as much as possible, because this is really hard to tiptoe around all this stuff. It's an amazing movie, but Emma Stone, she's pretty much, if it's not been solidified already, she's the best actress on the planet right now, just plain and simple. She plays the CEO head, Michelle Fuller. she's a monster, and I love the analogy they give into this. Is basically she's the queen bee of the hive, and all these other worker bees work for her. So the analogy in society is really, really cool how Yorgos implemented that in there. Jesse Plemons is such a great actor, and obviously Breaking Bad, which we've just gotten done talking about, is the first time I've ever seen him in that. And to see how he's grown, he's literally amazing actor, and I think he deserves more recognition. And then also in this film, he deserves an Oscar nomination, because I think he is undoubtedly he's going to be one of the 5 actors for Best Actor in January. I think he deserves a nomination because he's outstanding in this. I know Yorgos Lanthimos shot this on VistaVision camera, like One Battle After Another, that came out this year as well. It looks gorgeous with Robbie Ryan. He does the cinematography. It's a gorgeous looking film, and of course Yorgos always has good looking films. Jerskin Fendrix did the music score. It's great. And I think it needs more praise because that's how good it is. Will Tracy did the screenplay on this. I think it's sharp. I think it's twisted. I think it does an incredible job of like playing dark tricks on your mind and kind of pulling you in different directions and make you second guess yourself. And it's like, and also it's perfectly casted as well. So obviously you have 2 juggernaut actors, and it's off the charts. The Plemons character, Jesse Plemons' character, has like a very dark backstory that you think like mentally ill. Is Stone really an alien? Is she not an alien? It's just like it really does a good job of playing those tricks on you, and you go back and forth. Like the writing is so well, and you're just like, I don't know. So it's awesome. And then there's one actor. I understand that we have Emma Stone. I understand we have Jesse Plemons, but there's one actor in it named Eden Delbus. I think he deserves roses because I think he's very and I do understand that Plemons and Stone are in the film, but I think he is absolutely amazing in this film, and he deserves a lot of recognition. He plays the Don character, and he's great and all that stuff. And I understand that you're gonna focus on Plemons and Emma Stone because it makes sense because they're both amazing. But I think he deserves the roses. And then the last third act of this film is absolutely bonkers. No spoilers, but there's a design choice in the final act I thought was a little lame, but still that doesn't overshadow how incredible the ending is and how incredible the film is. And I feel good saying this, but this is actually a film I can recommend to people from Yorgos Lanthimos because Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Lobster, Poor Things.
Don't be scared.
Yeah, it's very hard to recommend this to regular people, and I'm just like, but yeah, this is one I could actually recommend to people. So it's one of my favorite films of the year. I ended up giving it 4 stars out of 5 at 88%, and I thought it was really well done. But of course. Like I said, I'm going to try to bullet through this and everything. We're going on to the next film. And the next film I went and seen, I actually just went and seen this last night in IMAX. And it was it was a really good time. And that would be Dan Trachtenberg's Predator Badlands. Okay, so how do I do this with no spoilers? All right. I suck at this so bad. But anyways, first off, I think Dan Trachtenberg, I think he just flat out gets this property. I think he's great at doing the world building, and hopefully I say Yatuja is basically, I call them the predators, but the Yatuja species, I think he has such a good time of doing such a good job and a good time of doing this world building. He did it with Prey. I know he did it with Killer of Killers, and then also he does a great job of doing the Predators world building. And of course, he just confirmed too. This is actually a couple hours ago. I just seen the article that this is the most aliens or predators or anything like this. This is the most in the future of any of those properties. So this takes place the farthest in the future, because he said he didn't want to step on anybody's toes of aliens or alien Earth or all the Romulus, things like that. So he made it so far out in the future, and I really dig it because you can actually see the advancement of the Predator's weapons and stuff like that. It's very galactic, if that makes sense. So I really like that. You have Deck, hopefully I don't butcher this name. Here we go. Demetrius Montague? Colomontigui. Hopefully I said that right. I'm just going to call him Demetrius, but plays Deck in this. I really like it that they have this as like a runt of the clan or the pack or whatever. I loved the design of his predator. 95% of it is practical effects, like the whole body is practical and stuff like that. The only thing that I did not like in the film was the entire faceplate is CGI. It's special effects and motion capture and stuff like that. And I understand that this is the first time you ever ever see and hear the predators speak their language in this. And I understand that you have to have emotion, you have to have speaking, and you have to have the muscle movements of the face, but I really wish they would have done animatronics. I think animatronics from the original 1987 Predator, that looked amazing. The animatronics they did on that face, and I think the animatronics would have been the best way to go, because and of course I think as like an actor and stuff like that, you can really give off a lot from like body language and all that stuff. So that's one of the things I wish they would have went with instead of like this special effects CGI motion capture. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like Romulus bad, but I just, there were some scenes that looked pretty rough, and then there were some scenes that looked good, but it was like kind of just like a 50-50 with me. And of course, Chad, I talked to you about this before, I felt, does this mean that he needs to wear the helmet or whatever? Is that like a clan thing of like, who becomes, worthy or something like that, he gets a helmet? No, he actually has a helmet from the beginning, and I was just like, oh man, I'm like, why didn't they just put a helmet on him and have him talk that way? So I thought that would have been cooler, but like I said, I digress. But anyways, I love this inserting a samurai, almost like human story of only the strongest will survive, and then obviously Deck, he's an underdog determined to prove his worth, and I love that. And then obviously something else happens in the film as well, but obviously that goes into spoiler territory. Gina, or the Death Planet is what they call it. He's going to hunt the ultimate prize kill to prove himself, called the Kalisk. And even the predators are scared of this. It's like the perfect monster. And, it's on this planet. And, even Deck's father, the father predator or whatever in this film, even he fears this creature. So he's just like, oh, so I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to take out this creature that everybody is scared of to prove himself, or die with honor. One of the things that kind of fell into a flaw of the film was Ellie Fanning. She plays two different characters in this, named Thea and Tessa. I thought the Tessa character was really, really cool and kind of menacing and stuff like that. I had a lot of fun with her. I thought the Thea character was a little too goofy for me, and I'll get to that in a minute. One of the things that kind of took me out of the film is they have that very Disney-esque of this film, and that was like taking this cute little alien companion along with Thea, who's played by Ellie Fanning, and it just felt so Disney inserted, and I didn't like the tone overall. It kind of took me out of it. It was a little too goofy, a little too unserious and all that stuff, but anyways, no, one of the positives too in this film, I think they keep the brutality of the predators and the carnage that they don't shy away. There's people getting their limbs ripped off, there's people getting their heads chopped off, there's creatures getting gutted, spilling guts everywhere. It's crazy, but there's no red blood. There's orange blood, yellow blood, green blood. It's all the other colors except red blood, so you can keep that PG-13, which had me kind of worried, because I was like, a Predator film that's PG-13, so I was kind of worried about that. But no, and the best way I can explain this planet, this Death Planet, Gina, is basically like Peter Jackson's King Kong. It's like the Skull Island. Everything from small to big is trying to kill you on this island, and that's how I felt with this world. I thought that was really creative on Dan Trachtenberg, and I really enjoyed that. They have a wolf pack analogy in this film that I really enjoyed, that they insert into the Predator. Being a lone wolf, but they show that in a wolf pack, an alpha works with the pack and is the leadership. So I thought that was really cool. And then overall, I had a really good time with it. I had the brutal action, the deadliness, and the creativity of the planet. Like I said before, you follow this predator in space, but at the same time, the tone overall took me out of it a little bit. It felt a little too goofy. It felt more like a Star Wars adventure more than a Predator movie. So I kind of hope they get back to like that horror tone, like the '87 Predator or Predators from 2011 or Prey or something like that. And I hope they get back to the kind of that horror tone. But overall, I had a really good time with the film. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars out of 5 and 70% overall. And but of course, with no spoilers, we talked about with Killer of Killers. There's a samurai story in there, and I really wish they would have kind of made that into a live action, because I really enjoyed that storyline and stuff like that. But overall, I really enjoyed Predator Badlands. Definitely check it out. I did see that it's doing very well at the box office, and it's like I said, there's the 95% audience score. I know it's got like an 86% critic score, so it looks like a lot of people are enjoying it, which I enjoyed it. I really did. But the little tone overall got kind of a little goofy and too unserious for me. But I still had a really fun time with this film, and I think a lot of people will have a fun time with it. And yeah, definitely check it out. And of course, Chad, all the way back to when I was in elementary and middle school, how big of a fan I am of the Predator franchise. So I just love it that they have so much eyeballs on this property now. Same thing with Alien franchise. It doesn't matter what you thought of Alien Romulus and stuff like that. I just love all the positive and negative eyes, but you still have eyeballs on this property, and I really like these recent adaptations and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope Dan Trachtenberg stays on to this property, because I think he really knows it. So I had a lot of fun with it. But I feel like I am talking way too much. So those are the two films that I finally got out of the way. So we can actually do this next thing that I want to talk about, is getting into the movie news a little bit. So Jessica and I'm sure Chad, I had a huge, big, giant smile on my face when I found out this news. I honestly thought it was fake, because I'm like, there's no way. And then like Variety and Deadline and all that stuff confirmed it, and I was like, holy crap, this is real. The Mummy 4 is a go. We have Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser both returning. So what do you guys think? So I'm curious to hear.
I'm cautiously excited.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Mummy. How can you not love the Mummy? Brandon was awesome in that, and Rachel, of course, and just a great overall cast, and just classic late '90s horror comedy. So great stuff. Yeah, maybe the later properties weren't as great, but Brandon, he's kind of having a reawakening. After The Whale. His reception for that, how great he was in it, and which is awesome. I think he deserves it for sure. I mean, he was always a really good, Hollywood, person that just, stayed just true to himself, and was a good guy. You never heard any bad things about him, so it's nice to see him back in the spotlight again. And Rachel, she's awesome, and I could watch 1,000 movies with her in them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Jess, I know you say you're optimistic and stuff like that, but I was like,
cautiously excited.
Yeah, they haven't confirmed it or something like that, but it makes me wonder too, is this going to pull Mummy 3 out of canon? Like it never happened or something like that? Because, Rachel Weisz didn't return for that. No. Brendan Fraser did, and pretty much everybody in the cast did. I think they ended up recasting his son as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I watched that movie once, so I don't really remember anything. I know it was bad. But no, I was super excited. And then also, once again, hopefully I don't butcher these names, but I found out that, or along with the announcement, they said that Matt Bettolini, Olpen, and Tyler Gillette is going to be the filmmaking duo, and they're known as Radio Silence, who did the movies Ready or Not, the 2022 Scream, and they did Abigail. So
those are all good.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about that, because you have that horror aspect to the Mummy. I think they can do a lot of fun with that, and of course, with Abigail and Ready or Not and 2022 Scream, it's like you also have that really good time comedy there as well. So
I was actually just talking about this movie with a patient the other day at work, and my coworker overheard me, and she's 26 and she'd never seen The Mummy.
Yeah.
So the way I have been spamming her inbox for days about The Mummy edits, it's such a millennial thing to love.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you need to watch this.
Yeah, and well, it was crazy because like even thinking of the '90s, because me and Jess are '90s babies, and it's like the only other film I could really think of this was the Princess Bride as well, but obviously that wasn't the '90s. What was that? The '90s? That was '80s, wasn't it?
It might have been late '80s, early
Yeah,
'90s. I'm not sure.
So, but it was like the only film that can pop in my head right now that I can compare it to. It's literally a perfect film that has horror, it has comedy, it has action, it has romance, it has adventure. It's got a hot ass cast. It's just like it literally has everything. Like I think it's just a masterpiece. And then of course we talk about I can't think of the '90s without thinking of The Mummy. And I'm just like it's just awesome. So
yeah, and one nice thing about a remake of The Mummy or a new version of The Mummy is it didn't rely heavily on practical effects. It had a lot of CG in it, really terrible 1999 CG. So if they can, expand on it even a little bit and just bring a little bit of that cool, terrible CG to it, I'd be all right with that.
I hope it has like the magic of the original ones.
Yeah.
Like 1 and 2 were so good.
Yeah, I kind of hope it's like if it does ignore Mummy 3, hopefully this will be the real trilogy closer.
I mean, that's where we got our daughter's name. Well, that's where I got our daughter's name. I'm just saying, big fan.
Yeah, we talk about this film all the time, and you said it best too, Jess. It was like there's no time that people's like, you want to sit down and watch The Mummy? I'm never gonna say no. It's just there's no way.
Anytime I catch it on TV, I'll stop and watch it, no matter where it's at in the movie.
Yeah, and the filmmaking aspect of it too, man. It's like the battle, and it's literally pretty much the foot on the gas through the whole thing. Like it's it comes in like an hour and 45 minutes, but the comedy is just so sharp. The freaking action is so sharp. It's so much fun. It's an adventure, and honestly, I kind of hope they go back to like the desert and all that stuff.
So.
They have to. Yeah, have to.
And we talk about it too. I am an unapologetic defender of The Mummy Returns.
I fucking love The Mummy Returns.
Yeah, The Mummy Returns. I think it's excellent.
Yes,
until
CG on the Scorpion King is terrible.
Yeah.
But you need to just remember that that's okay. Use your imagination. I don't know what to tell you.
But it's still a great sequel. It's obviously not. It doesn't touch the first one, obviously.
I don't know. I do love it. I think just as much.
Yeah, but it's so much fun. I was just sitting there. I mean, obviously the horrendous Scorpion King, like Jess said, is it takes you out of it in the third act. But man, I'm just like,
I have a good imagination. I'm fine.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I think it's extremely fun because I get kind of worried if they start bringing in like kids into a franchise because I'm just like,
no, that kid was good.
Yeah, the kid was awesome. Like it was a lot of fun. So
I wonder how much of the support staff is support cast is gonna be back.
I literally was about to say that because
you need Jonathan.
Yep, and there's been no confirmed besides Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser, but was it John Hannah who played Jonathan and Odin Fear who played Ardith? They haven't been confirmed if they're coming back. I would imagine with Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser, they have to come back. So I think that's going to be the grabbing factor is seeing that Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser are there. They're definitely going to come back. And then, but this is a double-edged sword. You have Arnold Vosloo, who played Imhotep. Yes, he's still alive. The actor's still alive and all that stuff. He looks great and all that stuff. He could if they announced that Imhotep was coming back, cool. But also, if they announce that he's not coming back, that makes sense because in the second one, his vessel. The reason why they could do the Mummy 2 with Imhotep is because his vessel wasn't destroyed. It was like what was that, like the underworld goo or whatever?
He was like in that goo stuff. But like the thing is, it's a supernatural world. So if you wanted to make it make sense to bring him back, you could. Yeah, and it just depends on if they can make it work.
Yeah. So, but once again, his vessel got pulled to the underworld. So
they could get him out of the underworld. We don't know.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's obviously what would you call that? Fantasy or sci-fi?
It's kind of both. I don't know.
Fantasy horror.
It's like mythology stuff. It's good.
Yeah, if they could get Barbossa back in Pirates of the Caribbean, surely they can get Imhotep back.
Yeah, but also I feel like he kind of broke your heart at the end of the second one, so I don't know if it would make sense for his character because he got totally emotionally devastated right before he got dragged to the underworld.
Anaximus, how you say it?
Anaximamoon.
She was like, "I'm out. I'll see ya." So yeah. But no, there's no details on the story yet. I know David Cogshaw is going to be the writer on this. That's the only thing that's got me kind of worried. Even though the 1999 screenwriter didn't really have much attached to his writing filmography, but that movie's a masterpiece. But this guy doesn't have any really big standout films in his writing filmography, but I would imagine with Matt and Tyler, the directors, are probably going to be co-writing with us with him as well, and so I'm really excited about it. But I honestly, I don't think people understand. Me and Jess are huge fans of this property, and like we can't come to a very a conclusion on a great tattoo idea because we want to get a couple tattoos of the Mummy, but we're still spitballing that. That's how much we love this franchise. Like, we love the Mummy, and then but to hear this, it was just like
it's a comfort movie.
Yeah, it's a comfort movie. It's an action movie. I think Brendan Fraser's Jack O'Connell.
Yeah,
it's like so badass. I remember when a kid, I was like freaking thinking I was Jack O'Connell in the backyard. You know, all that stuff. It was so fun. So. I'm so excited, and honestly, it's one of the best, me personally, because how much we love this franchise. It's like some of the best movie news I've heard in a long time. It was awesome.
I feel like when it's a property that you really like, it's either like the best or the worst news, because like if you mess this up, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
Like.
So I don't think I'll be upset because I think the 1999 will always be there.
That's true. I'm just going to pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
but still.
There's only 2 Terminator films out there. All right, they never made any more after the second one. So same thing with Alien. I'm like Alien and Aliens, even though I do like Romulus and Prometheus and all that stuff. But that's not the point, you know. So,
like, please don't mess up things I like. Thank
you. So, but no, I'm like super excited. But moving on from that, I actually wanted to go and wish a happy 18-year anniversary to Jessica's favorite film ever
Jesus
made.
Christ.
Is No Country for Old Men. I was like, I wanted to celebrate the 18-year. I seen that debuted. I couldn't believe it was 18 years. I was like, there's no way.
Listen, don't make me like crap on your
Hey, let me celebrate my film
on
here.
your favorite film on your nerdy podcast. People are going to send me hate mail.
But no, No Country for Old Men. I think it's still to this day. Let the Right One In is also up there as well. But I think this is like top number 1 or number 2 of one of the most faithful book adaptations ever made by the novel by Cormac McCarthy. And also, I think it's one of the greatest films ever made of all time by the Cohen brothers. Of course, you know how legendary the Cohen brothers are. Cinematography by the GOAT Roger Deakins. You know, I just absolutely poetry of cinematography on screen every single second. And then, of course, everybody talks about the most iconic performance by Javier Bardem, an all-time masterclass performance playing the character of Anton Chigurh. You know, so much that they did a psychological study of 400 films, and he ended up coming out number 1 of the most accurate portrayal of a psychopath ever put to screen. And he's just absolutely every bit of the masterful performance that you'll ever see. And then, of course, I just think overall, you know, still to this day, Best Picture winner, No Country for Old Men is a flawless masterpiece. And if Evil Dead 2 did not exist, this would be my number 1 favorite film of all time. So I just I absolutely adore this film. But anything to say about the anniversary of No Country for Old Men?
Oh man, well, it's hard to say. I mean, we have talked about it on quite a few podcasts, and it's just great movie making, acting all around. I mean, it just it's a classic. It's a master class in movies. Period. You know, hopefully, you know, kids that are in video TV classes throughout the U.S. Hopefully, they're watching No Country for Old Men and taking notes on, you know, how you do it.
Yeah,
it's a great flick. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah, I still go back and forth. I think the most number 1 tension scene, and once, like you said too, is it needs to be taught in filmmaking classes, is the coin toss scene. in that shop.
Yeah.
It is like the most tension-filled scene of all time. Like, it's so good. And I go back and forth with that, and then of course the opening scene to Inglourious Bastards. Like, that should be taught in film school. Like, some of the best stuff. So
how to ratchet up the tension in such a subtle, but profound way. Both of those scenes are just perfection for sure.
Yeah, and what was it, Hard Rap Right There, man? I just like it's still to this day. I'm like, I watch it every time, and it's like every time that dude's on screen, I'm just like, and we're in the era of like cell phones. I'm like staring at the screen instead of looking at my phone. I'm like, and I have to turn it off. Like, say if I'm doing extra work, working on notes, something like that, I can't turn it on in the background because I will stop doing what I'm doing just to sit there and watch the film. So it's just like, it's awesome. But nope, happy 18-year anniversary to No Country for Old Men, and I'm hoping next year or in 2 years, if they do the 20th year anniversary, I want to see that bad boy on the big screen again, so bad. So, but no, going on to we're going to two other spoiler-free reviews, and Chad, I'm gonna let you take the beginning of this because if you can wrap it up in 30 seconds to a minute, is I went out and seen the and you also seen it as well. I went out and seen the new Chainsaw Man movie. And what was the Chainsaw Man? The Arc of REZE?
Yeah, REZE. I think they said REZE.
REZE, yeah.
Yeah, REZE. When in the movie we were watching it, and one thing that always gets me. We watch a lot of anime, and we love it in its native language, whether it's Japanese or Korean or whatever, and just because the voice actors always do such a banging job of getting to the heart of the character and stuff, because they live and breathe that character. But sometimes the American translation version of it, they kind of phone it in a little bit. But the Chainsaw Man, Faith and I saw it in the theaters, and I know we just watched the night before the last episode of the series that's on Crunchyroll, and so everything was fresh in our mind. Everything, we went in just perfect, ready to go, and it was an interesting extension of the series. We got introduced to a couple new characters, including the character that James is talking about, REZE, who ended up being a pretty defining character for this arc. But it's all encompassed in this one 2 hour plus arc on the big screen, so we won't get to see much more of some of the characters that popped up in this, just to keep it spoiler free. But it was action packed. We saw some evolution of Denji as Chainsaw Man. He learned some new tricks of the trade from a couple new characters, and we saw a lot of the characters from the series pop in and do some neat stuff. But man, it was rough going. It was some very awesome fight sequences in the last second and third act. It was just balls to the wall the whole time. Like, you had no idea what's happening. Things are just blowing up, and people are getting stabbed, and heads are getting chopped off. I mean, stuff was going crazy. But that Chainsaw Man for you. It was definitely definitely followed suit to the end of the series from Crunchyroll. But I enjoyed it. It was slow at the beginning when they were introducing some new characters, so it's kind of dragged a little bit there. But if you're a fan of the series or of the manga, definitely try to get out to the theater and check it out. The visually and the sound was just so intense, compared to watching it here on our little screen at home and seeing some of these fight sequences. There's just nothing like it on the big screen, especially for an anime like that. It was top notch filmmaking. Yeah,
I am a noob when it comes to Chainsaw Man. I've never seen any of the episodes. I haven't read any of the mangas or anything, so I went in this kind of like completely blind to the property. I totally agree, and honestly, Chad, I'm surprised you didn't say, because you really had the perfect description of what this was. And I also had a problem with the pacing. I was just like, I really liked it. And without spoilers, there's some information and some building that they get to that pays off in the third act and all that stuff, or midway act to the third act that really pays off. So don't think because. I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, it's very slow at the beginning, but it's worth it in the end and all that stuff. And they do a lot of good building up. I was like sitting there, I was like, when's this chainsaw dude gonna pop out or whatever and all that stuff. So being a new person, but I really did like the dynamic that he has with another character, he or she, that he has this dynamic with. But I thought it was cool. But you described it so well. It was the first act and a half. It's very slow in the pace and it's built up and all that stuff. But then you feel like you just snorted a line of cocaine. It was just anime. It was battle. It is, I seen this in IMAX. It's just like freaking battle after another, like some of the craziest animation you've ever seen. It was really cool. Me being a new person to this property, I just thought it was very creative and really cool that he has this startup chain right in his chest, because you said he has this, what's the name of the demon heart that he has inside him?
Yeah, Pochita.
So when he hits that or ribs up that chain like you're starting up a chainsaw, literally a chainsaw comes out of his skull and comes out of his arms, and it's just some of the most creative stuff I ever see. And then he comes across a girl or boy villain in this called the Bomb Devil, right? And then it's the coolest thing ever, because when this girl or boy transforms into this Bomb Devil, they pull a pin on their neck like you're pulling a grenade, and it just explodes, and then it's got like a torpedo head. It's just like it's with a mouth. It's just like some of the coolest shit ever.
It sounds insane. I mean, it does. You say this to anybody else, and they're just like, man, this guy's crazy. But but Chainsaw Man, it's full of all sorts of demons like that. You got fiends, you got devils, you got demons that they're fighting. It's just every manner you can think of. But in the end, you got to remember Denji, the main character, Chainsaw Man. He's only 16 years old.
Yeah,
he was homeless. This organization took him in to kind of mentor him and give him a purpose, give him a place to live and a job, and but in the end, I mean, what you're really seeing is they're definitely taking advantage of it. They know he's powerful with this the demon in his chest, that is his heart, basically, Pochita, who was his friend at one point, a little guy that hung out with him. Yeah. And now, he's inside of him. I mean, see, once again, I sound like I'm insane, but it's the real deal.
Yeah.
Check out Chainsaw Man.
I'm like I'm a Dragon Ball fan. I've been a lifelong Dragon Ball Z fan, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super and all that stuff. But but you can also obviously see the overlapping thing of Japanese animation and stuff. Is this movie is very horny, just like all other very Japanese animation. And Denji,
he's 16, man.
Yeah, and Denji's like 16, and I was like, man. It must be a thing all across Japanese anime, is like they're very horny about this stuff, because there were scenes that reminded me of Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z, because he's just a pervert, and I was like, and Denji's like daydreaming about chicks and their underwear and bras just laying with each other. It
was next level. His daydreams were, that's for sure.
And talking about touching a pair of boobs and all that stuff, I was cracking up. So I'm like, okay, so maybe this is just a thing that just happens across all Japanese anime. Is like it's very horny. So it just
we in February, we went to Japan, and it is very horny there. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you go into these shops and there's just so many like they're the female manga
statues,
characters, just everywhere, and the gals are on the streets are dressed like them and stuff. I mean, it is a crazy culture. It really is. We love it, but it's crazy.
But no, I had a really good time for somebody that was going in blind. The movie doesn't do a perfect job of explaining the lore and getting new viewers caught up. So it's definitely one of those things like you have to know the property to really understand these characters and stuff like that. But there's also very simply explained to you. I'm like, okay, I get that. Yeah, I get that person. I get that, I get this event. I get it, what they're doing and all that stuff. So there was some stuff that was hard to follow, which I asked you questions about afterwards, but there's a lot, I'll say 70% of it's pretty easy to follow along.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I was worried, going into it that you wouldn't enjoy it because you didn't know more of the characters and kind of the backstory, but I was glad that you did. So, I mean, somebody just going to the movies and saying, hey, I don't know anything about this Chainsaw Man, but that sounds pretty cool. Going in to watch it, I think they'd have a good time.
Yeah, and then there were some horror aspects too that I wish they leaned a little bit more heavily on and all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love the Japanese animation goofiness and stuff like that. I really do love that stuff. But there was a couple dark moments. I was like, man, I was like, I wanted to sit on that a little bit longer and stuff like that. But no, it was a lot of fun. And once again, Chad described it best. It literally feels like you took a line of cocaine halfway through because it's off the chain. And I seen it in IMAX. Did you see it in IMAX?
No, just regular big screen.
Yeah, the score, the animation, the screen, it was gorgeous. I was like, I had a really good time. But no, I ended up giving it 3.5 stars out of 5, and it ended up getting it a 78%. I really had a good time with it, and that score will probably go up if I become more familiar with the property, because I do want to get the mangas and all that stuff and start reading those, because it looks like really fun and creative stuff. And do you know the creator of this?
Oh, shoot. I usually do know it off the top of my head, but I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But it's not a long series right now. I mean, I think it's maybe a dozen books, something like that. But it's rich for sure. It's a lot packed in those books, and you definitely will get a little bit more out of it than going into it blind. But your reaction is pretty good, pretty spot on for somebody not having seen it.
Yeah, but no, that's all we had from Mr. Chainsaw Man. Like I said, it was a really good time in IMAX. I'm really glad I got to see it in IMAX.
Good luck with that.
And what is this guy? Tatsuki Fujimoto? Tatsuki Fujimoto. All right, I'm going with that. All right, the creator of Chainsaw Man. So, no, I'm really excited to read it. It looks very creative, and it looks like a lot of fun and bonkers, and that's my type of bonkers. It looks violent and bonkers, so I like it. So, it's pretty cool. But
Tatsuki Fujimoto, that's right. Yep.
So, we're going on to our, next, we're going on to our final movie review, spoiler-free and all that stuff. But this is actually a film me and Jessica seen, 2 weeks ago. But it actually finally dropped on Netflix on Friday, and that would be Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So, of course, Guillermo del Toro, who did Pan's Labyrinth, did Shape of Water, Nightmare Alley, The Devil's Backbone, Hellboy, Blade 2, Kronos. He's done everything. So, this is obviously another reimagining or adaptation, however you want to word it, of the Mary Shelley's 1818 Gothic novel Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus. And so I'll let you take it away. Jessica, what are your first thoughts and everything? I've got different things, but once again, I feel like I'm talking too much. So I know this is a film that we've all seen, so I was really excited to break this down with you guys. So Jessica,
I don't want to go first.
I can.
You go first.
But I was like, we went and seen it. We went to the Neon Theater. Shout out to the Neon Theater. We actually got to see this on the big screen before it dropped on Netflix, and it was gorgeous. I absolutely loved it. It had an incredible music score by Alexander Desplat. Of course, Deathly Hallows and The Shape of Water and all that stuff. And once again, just comes in with another magical score, and his teaming with Guillermo del Toro and stuff like that. And they also did Pinocchio. So I love that. But right off the bat, I thought the gothic atmosphere and the magnificent set pieces had such a beauty to it, but also we talked about this a little before in private chat. It was like it had a very sinister feel to the atmosphere as well. Like something wrong is taking place, especially with Victor Frankenstein and what he's doing and all that stuff, like cheating death and stuff. So where do we start?
This is gorgeous.
Yep.
All I really liked it. It was true to the book.
Yep.
I really hate Victor, like, a lot. Like, as much as I could probably hate a movie character.
Yep.
Which is fair.
Yep.
Loved the creature. Big fan.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, well, that's one of the things, too. It's like...
the women of the internet want him.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, there's so many women who was just
I'm like, am I a pervert?
Like, there was a lady that was, like, giving, like, live updates when she was watching it on Netflix, and she was like, am I the one that thinks that the creature's hot, or whatever? So, it's like, so I thought that was really funny. But no, I just want to stay a little focused on the set pieces. Of course, we're so used to, like, Crimson Peak and Shape of Water and Hellboy and, you know, Del Toro's fantastic set pieces and stuff like that. And Chad, what'd you think of it, like, visually when you seen it for the first time?
Well, I think you and I talked about initially was that I felt like it needed to be just a tad darker, just graphically, just a little darker, just so you couldn't see, like, all the nooks and crannies of everything. But, you know, that's just one of my pet peeves, you know, and I understand. I mean, dang, look at the set pieces and how beautiful they were. And yeah, you want to see everything, of course. But, like, him down in when the monster was kind of chained up down underneath the big tower, it was just so bright in there. There's just, like, a couple little candles here and there burning. I'm like, I think it would have had a little bit more impact visually for me if it was just a little bit darker, you know, just you're seeing things by candlelight. You know, I thought they showcased the makeup of the monster a lot, and I would have liked to see a little bit less. I know. I mean, it's just me. It's just you know, my you know, film watching style is you know, more is less sometimes. But to get back to the set pieces and things, I thought the whole tower set with the big, like, drain in the middle thing was just, I mean, it was just amazing. You know, it was just absolutely amazing. Any of his labs, the way they approached them, even the ones, like, academically when he was, you know, kind of teaching in that college when you first meet him. I loved the little bits and pieces everywhere, you know. Of course, obviously, he created a kind of like an automaton, kind of a creature at the beginning that was covered up, and then they kind of revealed it by taking the blanket off, and it, you know, comes to life. You know, obviously, no spoiler there. We know what Victor Frankenstein does. But the makeup, sets, just everything was great. Oh, and the costume design stuff was great. I loved everything that Mia Goth was wearing, was just so cool. And obviously Victor, you know, with his vest on and stuff is just, you know, just amazing. You know, great stuff. But, you know, I'll always wish it was just a little bit darker. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I had I actually found this out a couple of days ago, and I, like, blew my mind, because we went and seen it 2 weeks ago, and then I wanted to wait until it dropped on Netflix because I wanted to get a review out, obviously, but with the interview with James Devaney and you know, life, you know, all that stuff, I just, you know, been delayed so much. But I started looking into reading more articles and all that stuff after I seen the movie in theaters. So I started watching interviews and things like that. I didn't know that, and it looks great. I was like, I'm not shocked, but it was really cool to see. But they actually built that ship that's at the beginning.
Oh, that's so nice.
And yeah, so it's like
it looked like it.
Yeah,
I mean, it really looked practical, but that's cool to find out.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh wow. I was like, yeah. He's like, he said I didn't want to CGI a big giant boat. And he was like, let's build it. So they ended up building that ship, and I just thought it looked gorgeous. Jessica,
you said that because I did love that set with the ship and the ice and everything. It was so well done.
Yeah, and Jessica's gonna love this too because we were in theaters with this. But the practical effects are absolutely in God mode. By Mike Hill, who was the lead on this. The practical effects are every bit of God mode. They're gnarly, and obviously we were the gnarly, very gnarly, giving you like, you know, obviously we know Victor Frankenstein, like Chad said, is you got to build the monster. So it takes parts to build this monster, and it is some of the most gnarly practical effect work I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of body horror.
Yeah.
So
Jessica's not a fan of body horror, and I was like, I don't think she knows what's coming. Like, as soon as he started gathering bodies, I was like, I don't think Jessica knows what's coming. And then it cut to this, she went, oh. So, but no,
I just didn't think they were gonna show it in such graphic detail.
I did. Del Toro, I was like, they're gonna show some gnarly stuff.
I expected them to elude it or maybe do a wider shot, like not like up in there.
Yeah.
They were up in there, that's for darn sure.
Yeah, and when it was happening, I was like, holy crap, with like the most crazy, like, brutal smile on my face. I was like, oh my god. And then, of course, Jacob Elordi, they ended up saying like 42 total prosthetics that they did on Jacob Elordi and the Frankenstein's monster, and it's got literally, it's his entire body. It's crazy looking. And, of course, a big focus point too, you guys got, I don't know, like, you talked about this comes with the costume design, is Mia Goth is in this. I think she's absolutely fantastic, and I think she fits the world of Guillermo del Toro perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I love the red and blue collars. I think it's a magnificent costume design. And Kate Hawley, who actually did this, I think it's gothic at the same time, but it also has like a warm beauty to it, and shows that there's like love in this dark world, and her costumes express that every second.
Del Toro does that a lot in Crimson Peak too.
Yeah. And what we talked about, I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler. You remember the mother at the beginning, the red veil,
that was
the
really
silk
pretty.
going into the wind or whatever. It was gorgeous. But no, and then Dan Lotson, we already talked about too how gorgeous the film is. He's the cinematographer, one of the most underrated cinematographers in the game right now. I think Dan Lawson needs a lot more roses chucked to him, because he did John Wick chapter 2, 3, and 4. He did Crimson Peak. He did Nightmare Alley. He did Shape of Water. I think he's one of the best working cinematographers that doesn't get talked about enough, and he absolutely proves it in this. But now, so this is the one thing of keeping it spoiler free. So Jessica, your thoughts on Jacob Elordi as the monster?
Big fan. Not just the visual appeal, but like the monster is just done very well. I don't know how much are we talking about it in depth. I could talk about it in depth, but just the character is like really endearing.
Yeah.
You feel really bad for him.
Yeah, and then Chad, what did you think? Because we talked in private a little bit about this. Like, I wanted this to be the film that kind of made me, because Jacob Elordi, I know he was like, I've seen him in Saltburn and Euphoria and things like that, and all that stuff. I haven't had that wow factor yet from him, and I got that myself. So what was your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, well, you and I talked about it a little bit the other day, and I said, besides the gentleman in Penny Dreadful that plays Frankenstein's monster in there, I think Jacob's performance was the best cinematic version of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Penny Dreadful is a series, but I just thought he brought a lot of heart to it. I loved his transition. It's almost like Poor Things, with Emma's portrayal from basically infancy, but without their body growing. They just start off already an adult, a giant, a hulking man. In this case, made up of all these parts, to learning and becoming more human than even Victor Frankenstein was in the end. When the monster actually says, to Victor Frankenstein, like, you were the monster. His own brother tells him, you were the monster.
Yeah.
So it's just, but Jacob did such a great job physically. Just his mannerisms and movements were just well done. I mean, I assume he probably worked with somebody on how to carry himself and kind of what it means to be this character, but he definitely killed it. So I can't think of another cinematic version of the monster where I felt like it was better. I mean, Yeah, obviously you got Boris Karloff, as Frankenstein's monster, but I'm just saying, like, the modern telling of it, in the prosthetics, and then in the end when he's got the clothing on and his hair's grown long and stuff, which was crazy. It just, yeah, he ate it up. He was what I think Guillermo del Toro probably thought of when he came up with the concept to do Frankenstein. Finding this guy, this tall dude that is a killer actor, good physical actor, was probably just icing on the cake for him.
Yeah, and also too, I don't know if people know this, but the details behind the scenes was he only had 6 weeks to get prepared for this, and also a shout out to the practical effects team too, because I don't know if you ever, like, people know Jacob Elordi, like, that dude's super tall. So you would have to before he was because they recasted the role, because it was originally supposed to be Andrew Garfield was supposed to be the Frankenstein's monster. So they had to recast the role because the writer strikes or the actor strike and all that stuff. So it delayed all that stuff. So Jacob Elordi came in 6 weeks. So you imagine you would have to probably not scrap, but you would have to resize all the practical effects that they probably did for Andrew Garfield, because they're two different body sizes.
Those are life casts. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they had to life cast his whole entire body and redo all of the sculpting for it. So it'd be a monumental task to do that. And
then of course, like, I don't know. I don't know if they did like a what am I looking for, like an enhancing of his voice. But I want to see. I can't wait, because I know Criterion Collection has talked about they're probably going to release this physically. I want to see some behind the scenes video of, like, the audio on set, if that is actually Jacob Elordi's voice.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been enhanced or messed with in any, like, the sound and stuff like that. Sorry, Jess, you're about to say something.
I'm really actually kind of glad it got recast, because I can't imagine someone like smaller playing him.
I can't either.
Like, the size is part of the character.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess what I meant by that was, like, we know they probably would have made him mountain size, even with Andrew Garfield playing him, but you didn't have to do that with Jacob Elordi, because that dude is a mountain, like, size, like, tall wise.
Big.
Yeah, it says he's 6'5".
That's crazy. So, no. But no, as far as, like, the performance and stuff like that, I thought it was a beautiful performance by Jacob Elordi. Obviously, with the Frankenstein's monster, it's been adapted so many times of, like, basically, I don't know if fish out of water is the best way to explain it. I really like the comparison to, because obviously it's no secret that was probably inspired by Frankenstein, was Poor Things with Emma Stone. Basically this creature is being presented to the world for the first time, and witnessing the darkness and also the beauty of humankind. And I thought it was just outstanding. And then the big outstanding about his performance is it was just outstanding through just body language before he even speaks. And then when he speaks, it's just like, it's so powerful and booming, and it gave me goosebumps and all that stuff. Like, especially, this doesn't come with this isn't a spoiler, but without context, I love it when he's like, "Now let me tell you my tale," but obviously, I can't get my voice that deep, and it's just like, I got goosebumps every time, and I was literally like a freaking nerd breaking the scene down out loud when we rewatched it on Netflix. I was like, watch this, babe. I'm like, it's just so awesome right here. So I was just going, giddy, whatever. So I loved the look. Obviously, the costume designed by Kate Hawley, of course, as well. I love the ragged looks and the rags and all that stuff that he was wearing. It gives that classic Frankenstein's monster, attire to it. And then, of course, I love the long hair look later in the film that he has. I thought that was so wicked, and it was very, very... And I was really happy to see it was confirmed afterwards, but it was inspired by Bernie Wrightson's Gothic art or illustrations of Frankenstein's monster. So I absolutely adored it. But you're about to say that? Oh, okay. But no, Jacob Elordi, he is the MVP. He is the big standout. Even though I'm about to get to somebody else here in a second, whatever. A lot of people were saying he's the MVP. He's the big standout, and I absolutely agree with that. And this is... Oh, and sorry, Chad, did you have anything to add before we move on to this final character?
No, just in thinking about his performance, especially, when he was first kind of, born, he only knows one word, and it's Victor, and it's just how he can emote with just that one word, like his anger and then sadness, and then happiness. I mean, it's just so it was so well done. So yeah, absolutely, Jacob, he killed it, and he's a monster, like physically tall. He looked awesome in the part, so it couldn't. I don't think it could have gone any better.
Yeah, and one of his performances too, and it goes into the body language as well. It's just like you talked about the toddler mentality and stuff like that. Him playing with the water for the first time, and then he ends up putting a leaf on some water that goes downstream. It's just like it's just the body movements alone. It was crazy, and then it's like a cherry on top to the performances when he actually speaks. I was like, wow, it was so good, because it was very poetic and very Shakespearean is how he like his his speech patterns and everything were, but it was just so elegant and just it was epic. I really enjoyed it. But no, yes, Jessica's got to him a little bit before. I think we take it for granted how good Oscar Isaacs is because he has so many amazing performances, but I think Oscar Isaacs is so damn good in this film as Victor Frankenstein, and we talked about it again in private before we did the podcast chat. I was like, and I told Jessica too as well, when they announced it a couple years ago that he was going to be Victor Frankenstein, I'm like, it's perfect. And the reason why I think it's perfect is because he plays Nathan in Ex Machina. It's just like he's already shown that he can play Victor Frankenstein. He's created something that he has, it was perfect casting, and he showed that in Ex Machina. And when they said Oscar Isaacs was going to be it, and now obviously I think he's one of the best actors working today, I was like, it's perfect. It's perfect. Of course, he's a piece of shit in this movie.
I know.
But,
what did I say the other day when we were watching it again? You were watching it. I was like, I'm so glad he got his fucking leg blown off.
whoa. You're going to be blowing some spoilers there, girl. Oh, man.
Listen,
it's just a chunk.
Listen, that's like needed to happen.
But no, me and Jessica talked about it too. I love what Del Toro did with this because he gave him the Oppenheimer. Like he gave him the poisoning, feeling like a rock star and all that stuff. Like, and it's very poisoning to the mind. I mean, you see the child side. I'll get to the detail that Guillermo del Toro does in this. That even to an adulthood, I thought it was great because I was like, that's such a little detail that a lot of people are over going to look, or whatever. But you see the charming side of Victor Frankenstein. You see his motives, with his father in the background. And I won't tell you what context and all that stuff you see in the film. Is his story is he's a childish monster. That's what he is. Yeah. And one of the details that Del Toro did in this, I thought it was so genius, is he has him drink milk in this.
That's funny.
Nonstop.
Nonstop.
I don't think I realized that.
It's like a child that doesn't get what he wants, and it just even shows as an adult he's still drinking milk, so it gives all the expression like a child with his little milk. Take your milk.
I just get so mad at him in this movie, and not even in just his interactions with the creature, but his interactions with Elizabeth. Yeah. Like, I just want to punch him out. Yeah. Like, I hate him.
Yeah. And
you could definitely sum up, kind of his childishness in the one dinner scene where he's drinking his milk, and then he drinks it all, and then he just takes the cup and holds it behind him, like over his right shoulder, just waits for somebody to come over and pour more into the cup. I'm just like, come on, dude.
Yep.
And what the heck? But,
he's the worst.
Yeah, just entitlement. He's always been the smartest person in the room, kind of a guy. And, nobody ever really checked him on it.
Yep.
And so this is what you get.
Yep. And the thing is, too, is like, that's why it's to Del Toro, it's to the writing, and the screenplay is, and that's what Mary Shelley did.
Yeah. He's like entitled, he's a victim, he's everything is just against him. Yes. I can't.
And he is the monster. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks, and even for years and decades, is when people say Frankenstein, they think that's the name of the monster. No, the monster is Victor Frankenstein. And it's just like it's like that's Del Toro, man. He gets the property. It's aces. I just absolutely loved it. And like I said, Oscar Isaacs is perfect as Victor Frankenstein. His performance is absolutely amazing. And I think once again, we take it for granted how good he is, and we're just like, oh, it's another amazing performance, knocked in the bag. And I'm like, I really think he is just absolutely phenomenal in this film. I really love it. Yes, he is a piece of shit, but I think a lot of people overlook like it's the villain, it's the bad guy or something like that, so they automatically, I don't think they should dismiss the performance, because I think he is absolutely phenomenal. But any final thoughts on Mr. Oscar Isaacs before we close this out? Cool. All right. So and the final thing is, shout out to Guillermo del Toro. I know this was a lifelong dream, because 1931's Frankenstein was the motivation, and what inspired him to become a filmmaker was when he watched that film. It's his favorite film of all time. And you just want to talk about like a Cinderella story or a dream come true story or whatever you want to say. That's like, it's literally your favorite movie of all time, and you got to remake it.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to do an adaptation of your favorite movie of all time. How cool as shit is that?
I don't even know what to describe. Like, I feel like he likes creepy science things.
Oh yeah, and he
likes.
He loves, like, I think like the first eye people see it as monsters or whatever, but he shows the beautiful and the human side to monsters. I just, he's done it with Shape of Water, he's done it with Pan's Labyrinth. He just, Guillermo del Toro is the freaking man. And I said it when I walked out of the theater when we got done. I'm like, it's just what a cherishing time to live in when we're getting the films of Guillermo del Toro. So good.
Oh yeah, I just wish I had his space and his means to collect all the stuff that he collects.
Yeah,
I'd get my right eye to go in Guillermo's house and roam around and see all his cool stuff.
Yeah. And but no, my final thoughts on Del Toro. I said the love for Mary Shelley's work is that love is on full display every second of the film. Visually, all the way down to the smallest detail, it is all Guillermo del Toro, and it's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful and lovely and dark and twisted and gothic, whatever you want to throw at it. It's just absolutely awesome. I've seen it twice now, and I can't wait to watch it again. I ended up giving the movie 4.5 stars out of 5, 94%. So I really love this film. It's one of my favorites of the year, and I don't know where I placed this in his filmography yet, so I'll get back to you on that one of my filmography ranking. But your final thoughts or score on Guillermo del Toro? Frankenstein.
Oh, Frankenstein! Shoot, if you add it all up, and we're going to do stars, I'd do 4.5 out of 5 on it. All my gripes are very minuscule compared to the scope of everything else. It was a enjoyable movie from start to finish. I love practical effects, and it was practical effect heavy. Obviously the makeup was all practical for the monster, which I really enjoy, and it gives the actors a chance to act. I hate, after we're just talking about Predator Badlands and the stupid CG face they did for the guy. I mean, I still think if they would have just stuck to something practical on that, you just have such a different performance. But so I enjoyed Frankenstein. I'm definitely going to watch it again and again. Great casting, great directing, great everything. So that's it. We figure Frankenstein came out in the 1800s. I think 1820, something like that, when Mary Shelley wrote the original Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And man, we're talking about it hundreds of years later with this new adaptation. That's pretty cool when you think about it.
Big Mary Shelley fan. We like her.
Yeah, and then
what a legend.
Jess, your favorite Del Toro movie is probably Crimson Peak, right?
Yeah, I'd say Crimson Peak's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Would you put this over it, or would you?
Nah.
No. Okay. I was curious.
It'd probably be number 2. But
Okay.
Crimson
I was
Peak
curious
is
where
special.
it would be at, but
that one has the shock factor for me. This I kind of you kind of know. You know. Yeah. Well, I mean, I would hope you would know unless you're illiterate. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and And I forgot to say that too, and I'm glad you reminded me. It was like the story that's been told so many times, but Guillermo del Toro tells it in his way, and I love that. Same thing with Pinocchio.
It's the best retelling.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I absolutely adored it. Like I said, he did the 1931 Frankenstein justice, and he also did justice to Mary Shelley's work. So. Gorgeous film. Absolutely love it. But, all right. So, moving on to our final thing. We're done with our movie reviews or whatever, but we're going to move on to our final thing for the podcast or whatever, and that is we're actually going to do a spoiler talk. Well, we actually are going to give a spoiler-free review, but we actually get into our spoiler talk for the first 3 episodes of the HBO series It, Welcome to Derry. So we are doing the first 3 episodes. They are out now on HBO. And this is, I'll do it free and quick, and then obviously you guys can jump in at any time if
I don't trust myself to say nothing.
Yeah, so spoiler free. So
tough.
I already seen that this has been renewed for a season 2, and I know that they start production on season 2 in 2026 March or whatever. So I'm very excited to see that, and I know this ended up breaking not HBO Max record numbers, but actually HBO properties in general.
What?
Of
really?
like of views and things like that for
Wow.
a series. So that was really cool to
even
see.
over House of the Dragon.
Not over House of Dragon, but one of the top.
Oh, okay,
yeah. It's just like one of the top most viewed, so that was really good to see. And then obviously shortly after they announced season 2, so not shocked at all. I had what was it? Andy Muschietti or Muschietti. I've heard it said in 2 different ways. Andy, I'm going to say Muschietti. Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti is back, who also did the 2017 It and the 2019 It Chapter 2. I was really glad to see them back with this. And then it's a 1950s, or 1950s. It takes place in 1962. But the one thing I really wanted to give a shout out to, spoiler free, is I love the postcard like 1950s opening that they did for this. It's so awesome and creepy.
Yep.
I thought I was blown away by that. It's honestly like one of my favorite HBO like opening credits things they've done, and they've done some pretty epic ones. So yeah. I thought that was cool. Spoiler free for the first 3 episodes. It is brutal. It does not hold its punches. You're gonna find out what kind of series you're in store for the first 5 minutes of the opening episode of episode 1. It is one of the craziest pilot episodes I've seen. As far as overall how I would do the first 3 episodes, I think episode 1 is my favorite. Episode 2 is my second favorite, and my episode 3 is my least favorite, even though I really, really like episode 3 because it has a lot of like groundwork that it builds up on that I'm sure it's definitely going to pay off, and we'll talk about spoilers here in a second why. But I really like that. But what's your thoughts on the first 3 episodes? Spoiler free, Jessica.
I would say no one is safe, so don't get attached to anybody. I really like how cohesive it is with the movies. Like, the way it all fits together, it just leaves you with so many thoughts about how things are going to work out. Like, I have so many theories. It's amazing. I would say I don't know. I think I might like episode 2 the best. I don't know. I think it's because episode 1, I was just like, what did I just watch? Like, I was kind of horrified in a good way. But I think for me, 3 has so far been my least favorite one. I still liked it. Like you said, it had a lot of good information, which I think is going to be very relevant for the rest of the season. But I didn't really care for some of the effects in the 3rd episode. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, and then before I hand it off to Chad, I forgot to say that, and I think it just left my mind again. I don't know what it was. But anyways, take it away, Chad. Go ahead.
Well, I'll piggyback on what you guys were saying, which was your favorite of the 3. I probably would go 1, 2, 3 as well. The opening sequence for the first episode, the pilot episode, was just so
disturbing.
Insane that nothing in I won't say nothing. Almost something in the second episode, was right up there with it, which is tough. But some awesome effects work. Bringing back in the Muschiettis to do the series was, it was the right move for sure. They definitely have the love for the property and doing it justice. Absolutely. Man, the kid casts in the first episode were so good. So like what Jessica was saying, you just gotta be aware. This is Pennywise. He kills and eats kids. So guess what? If there's a kid in the thing that you like, he might get killed and eaten. So just keep that in mind. You got to. So,
Yeah.
But definitely keep that in mind. I just watched the third episode right before the podcast, and while it wasn't as action packed, and that the final act for the third episode was a little wonky with some CG. I really liked kind of the military aspect of it, and kind of how they're tying things together with some other other properties, and kind of building what we think seasons 2 and 3 are going to be about, which is great. So great casting all around. Kids are, man, phenomenal. And then the adult cast they have, I can really see them building hopefully into the other seasons, because they got a really stellar group of folks. So as long as they keep making you sick with some awesome effects and keep you wondering what in the world did I just see, then I think the rest of this season is going to be pretty killer.
Yeah, and I realized what I was going to say too was before I handed it off to you was I don't know if this counts as, it's not really a spoiler. I think it's just like your temper your expectations. Is the compliment I was going to give to the series so far, without spoilers, is the first 3 episodes are awesome, and we still have not seen Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise.
That's right.
It's so good, and I was like sitting there. I was telling Jess, I was like, we're 2 episodes in, and I think it's awesome, and we haven't even seen Pennywise yet.
See, I'm not a fan of that, but I know you like it.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be
too.
in every episode, but I do think we're going into we're getting kind of in there now, so stop playing with me.
Yeah, I like that it's like it's taking its time and it's being patient.
Especially, I don't know if I should even say that. Especially with the last episode taking place where it took place, and I didn't see no freaking clown.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a little pissed off.
Yeah. You only get the hint of the clown, which
yes.
which I'm okay with. But you got to, if you think about it from the perspective that we're 3 hours into a 8-hour movie, and you still haven't seen the dude, then you're just like, yeah, where the heck is he at?
It's kind of giving that one Godzilla movie where you got to see a foot for the entire movie.
It's like something's weird here. What's going on?
I think it's giving you need to pay Bill
Skarsgård. You're watching the 8-hour
Skarsgård.
version of Jaws, and you still haven't seen the shark after 3 hours. You're going to start freaking out.
Yeah. So, but no, I really enjoyed it because, like I said, I'm having a really good time with the series, and that's what I was gonna say too. Without spoilers, I think episode 3 felt like almost like it's still brutal, but it almost felt like a Goosebumps episode, if that makes sense. If you like Goosebumps,
It really does.
yeah,
It definitely did.
yeah. If you like Goosebumps, and I like Goosebumps, I love Goosebumps, but given the brutality and how the horror was in the first 2 episodes, you're just like, this kind of felt like a Goosebumps episode.
I think
Pretty
what it
tame.
is with
Narrative,
missing the clown, I think I know. I think I just thought about it exactly why I'm annoyed about it. So I think Pennywise is like high key, really funny. Like in an awful way. Like he's hilarious, and I feel like I'm missing that comedic hit. Like the kids themselves are pretty funny, but like I need some more of that dark humor. Like he's just so evil and funny about it though.
Yeah. He's but I think when he shows up, it's gonna be pretty epic. It's like I think that build up is gonna be worth it when he shows up finally.
Like when he's like toying with everybody and he's just having a great time. I think
it's
hilarious.
we rewatched It Chapter 2, getting prepared for this podcast, and when crap, what was the kid's name that was like, he was fat when he was younger. And anyways, he's in
New Kid on the Block.
Yeah, New Kid on the Block. It's something from history class. Crap.
Whatever. I just call him New Kid on the Block. Anyway.
So anyways, he's like adult now, and he's like in really good shape and all that stuff, and he's like down the pit, like sinking in this dirt, and he's like, "You'll still always be a little fat little kid to me." I'm like, damn. I'm like, it is like Pennywise ain't holding shit back.
Well,
so.
then he's like messing with Richie, and he's like on the I know your secret.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, he's honestly like, that's why I think like made Freddy Krueger so much like fun, because he would talk shit as he's trying to kill you, and Pennywise like, man,
and he's not even like trying to kill him; he just literally effing with him.
Yeah.
Like,
yep. So, but anyways, no, that's our spoiler-free section. So there is time codes below, and you can skip to the, when we close this podcast out and all that stuff. But there is time codes below in the description. So from this point on, we are talking spoilers for the first 3 episodes of It, Welcome to Derry. So this is the spoiler talk section of this. But definitely go check out the series. I think Andy Muschietti, or Muschietti, however you say it, is and Barbara. I think they've done an incredible job. I think we forgot that that's where they first started, was these horror roots. Obviously with Andy, with, the whole Flash movie, but I don't want to talk about that and all that stuff. I just love that he's back in his comfort zone. He's where he belongs, and you can feel that love that they have for Stephen King's property in this, and I love the directions it's going. I love the hints that it could possibly go to, and I love that it's gotten renewed for season 2, because their plan is to do 1962 is the first season. They're going to go back to 1935 for the second season, and then they're going to go to 1905 for the third season. So they have a blueprint. That's which I love to hear. They have a blueprint, and that just makes my heart warm, because there's so many times.
I mean, they do, but I have so many questions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be mad if they don't get answered adequately.
I like that the Duffer Brothers, that did Stranger Things. Obviously, they had a blueprint from the beginning where their story was going. So to hear that Muschiettis are doing the same exact thing, I love that, because I don't want a Game of Thrones on my hands here. I don't want it just goes off the rails, after a certain point, because the books.
Is Stephen King involved in this at all?
Oh, I'm sure he is. I follow him on Instagram, and I know he likes
the property. He was in the episode and stuff. Yeah. I was just wondering if he had any input in the writers' room.
Oh, I'm sure he has. Or if they have anything. But anyways, yeah. So now we're going on to the spoiler section of the first 3 episodes of It, Welcome to Derry. So here we go. So episode 1. We open up, and I totally forgot to write down the kid's name, but was wanting to escape Derry and gets picked up by a family. So I'll let you take that away, Chad. Go ahead and describe your best abilities, because it is an audio podcast, of what we witnessed in episode 1.
Well, you find out that the kid's running away because of unrequited love, basically. There's a gal that he liked, and he kind of made a move for her, and it didn't go well, so he decided to get out of town. So he's basically hitchhiking down the side of the road in 1962, and his family and the family truckster, Christmas Vacation style, pulls up and hey, you want to hop on in? And so says sure. So he hops on in, and it seems all is well. It's a mom and a dad and 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and they're just doing nice normal stuff, like opening up a container of raw liver and eating it in the back seat, and then trying to make it smell the fingers,
it's so disturbing.
Which is weird. And
Maddie.
And you find out that,
Maddie was the kid's name.
Yeah, is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you find out that the lady in the front is pregnant, because you find out that she is suddenly going into labor, and from there, you can kind of use your imagination. Things are happening, and it's not great. And but now you've definitely seen that Pennywise is in this vehicle with them, and he's taken control of them, or is them, or whatever, however you want to say it. And the lady starts going into labor, and all its wonderful graphic, gory detail. You get to see this little two-headed monster creature baby with the one wing kind of be born into the car. So, from there, it believe it or not, gets even crazier. So that's the first 5 minutes of first episode. Welcome to Derry.
Yeah, and it's the family is like every bit of like that 1950s like nuclear warning. Like you see them on a billboard, like like you go for like a nuclear drill, and basically like those 1950s like step by step what you do in a nuclear situation. But it was like that white picket fence like 1950s family. It was
stereotypical. Yeah, absolutely.
And even on the radio they talk about the nuclear side effects that it has on women if you're pregnant, and then and they show everything.
Everything.
Yeah, and it ends up this bat mutated twin baby ends up birthing out of this woman, and you're literally given right off the bat the tone of the show. You're just like, yeah, they're going there. Like they're not holding any punches. They're like, and that's why I really respected about what Andy and Barbara did, because they showed like, yeah, we're not playing around. It's just like it's no holds bar. Like they get it right off the bat, because that was my biggest worry going into it. I was just like, are they gonna like take this to the next level and all that stuff? And then it was good. But Jess, what do you think with the opening scene?
What the F? Like they just I don't know. That was a lot. It was a lot right off the bat. I felt bad for the kid. He was just not. I feel like, it was not good.
He was right there. He was almost out of Derry. So
he was, all obviously traumatized by it. So he actually, and that's the saddest part of it, is when he puts his pacifier in his mouth.
Yeah,
it's like a 10-year-old kid sucking on a pacifier, basically smushing his head against the glass of the window to try to, pretend that he's not really there. And it's just, it's so sad.
Yeah. And now, as far as like overall the episode 1, 2, they do a couple things that I got kind of worried about. Of what I'm trying to say is like, I was kind of worried because I was like, is there not going to be any creativity? And what I mean by that is like, we see later in the episode you have Clara Stack, who plays Lily. Like, she all of a sudden starts hearing voices in the drain and all that stuff. I'm like, we've seen this before in the It movie. I was like, oh, man. I was just like, okay, that's kind of a repeat, is hearing that. And then, of course...
but it's kind of like a common Pennywise thing.
Exactly, yeah. But I was just like, is there no creativity? And then, of course, in the final act, which we'll get to in a minute, but, Pennywise coming out of the projector screen and all that stuff. But... all my worries about creativity go away in the second episode, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I was worried with episode 1 because I had to sit on it for a week. But I did have the thing like, we're forming the Losers Club and all that stuff. I'm like, we've seen this before, all that stuff. We got these kids.
Have we seen this before?
Yeah, and then now we can get into it. We get to the finale of episode 1. It was nuts. Go ahead, Jess, because describe it, because your reaction was my favorite, because you were just like, we went to bed afterwards, and you were like, that was so effed up. And like, you couldn't believe it, because they do a genius job. They put these kids on posters going into marketing. Like, literally, these kids in this first episode, like, it looks like the Losers Club. Like, oh, these are going to be our main characters.
And then that one little girl was so cute.
Yep.
Like, they were funny. Yeah.
They were.
Then, what happened, Jess?
They all got killed. It was very sad. And it was like
those two boys. I thought those actors were freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I mean, they had some scenes where it was just like gut wrenching. Like they were so good, so powerful, and to see them ripped apart and
they had like character development and things going on already.
Yeah, and it was genius. It literally took obviously my jaw was on the floor.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, but in great in detail, and obviously if people have seen the episode and stuff like that, like that bat baby from the beginning, literally comes back, but it's like a freaking pterodactyl flying through the theater.
Well, yeah, because it's like on a movie screen, so like he made big by the movie screen.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was like
comes out of the screen.
Huge.
And wreaks havoc.
Yep. And I love that they actually took the kid that we see get murdered in the beginning. He's actually in the movie. So I thought that was pretty wicked. And then, obviously he flings it out of the screen. So, yeah, I'm trying to describe it as much as possible because this is a audio podcast. But, no, it comes out, ends up, I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to attack him all the time. And it picked up the first kid and, like, ripped him.
Playing.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, God. They're like, he's dead. Like, there's no coming back from that. That's not a damage. Yep. And then he jumps over, ends up ripping the other kid apart, and then, of course, the little girl goes to crawl towards Lily and gets her arm chomped off and all that stuff. And then I literally thought Lily died as well because she sticks her hand out in the movie aisle, and I was like, she's going to come crawling out in her whole lower half.
I really don't understand why Lily didn't get it, too, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I just, it was nuts. To say my jaw was on the ground, that's an understatement. Because I was like, oh, they went there.
Because I don't really feel like... Because I feel like usually Pennywise kind of plays with his food before he, like, kills him. And, like, no, that didn't happen at all. Like, not even a little bit.
Yeah. No, because...
I guess it was kind of like...
The terrorizing was what made him, like, almost sweeter, Like, he gets them so in a frenzy of terror that... By killing them then and eating them, that's when they, taste the best.
Maximum fear.
At least that's what it seems.
Well, I guess it was kind of more of like a Georgie level kill.
Yeah, yep.
Like a first encounter situation.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it, set the stage. I mean, yeah, sure, he took out, 3 of them and left the one girl alive, but she definitely carries that terror with her through the rest of the episodes that she's in. So I mean, and then she honestly passes that on to others who now are seeing him, and I mean, maybe that's the way he works. He just injects himself into your life, and then you infect other people with it.
Kinda, yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, and then we find out it's either episode 1 or episode 2. That we find out that there's a military presence, and there's this thing called the Operation Precept, and basically, long story short, is they want to find and weaponize Pennywise, and I was like, huh, that doesn't sound that's going to turn out awful at all. So I don't think they know what they're dealing with, and obviously you get that with, and we'll get that a little bit with Dick Halloran, but even Dick Halloran says, I didn't find it; it found me, and he was like, I think we should leave it alone. He was just like, so it even shows that too. It's like they don't know what they're dealing with, and it's crazy, but no. And then the final to close out episode 1 is Lily comes out into the we call it not the hallway, lobby of the movie theater, and she was like, they're all gone. What do you mean they're all gone? And she looks down, and it's the little girl's hand is still onto her, but it's obviously been ripped off, and it's still holding onto her. And then she gives out this wailing scream, and that's the end of the episode. So it was a whiplash for sure, because like I crack up because Jessica was like, that was fucked up. I'm like, I can't believe that happened. And she was like, I'm like, man. And then we went to bed, and then she was sitting there, and she wasn't even playing on her phone, because usually she like reads a book and stuff. Like, she's like, that episode's got me messed up, man.
Oh God.
It was.
I think I want to give it another try. Maybe I haven't read the book, so I kind of want to maybe give it a try. I started reading it like years ago, and I didn't really get into it. I've read The Shining, and I like The Shining. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe I need to give her a go. Yeah, and then we'll go into episode 2, and we'll start with that. Is the big reveal.
Yeah, I love that.
So good.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's genius.
I didn't know if I liked it at first, but I do like it.
Yeah, they called one of the soldiers Halloran. And I was like, okay. And then they were like, Dick Halloran. I'm like, Dick Halloran? the Dick Halloran, like the Shining Dick Halloran, and then you come to find out they actually have a character in here. They a crossover from The Shining is they're in the same world. You literally have Dick Halloran from that has the shine. And Chad, we talked about it before too. Was like, how are they able to know like the past of Pennywise? Because the wipe out the mind and stuff like that. Yeah, there's
that's like a genius way to do it.
Yeah, genius. It's absolutely genius.
Yeah, it is. You'd never be able to find him, and then just leapfrogging a little bit just to the third episode, just since we're talking about it. They literally use him like a divining rod. They put him in this helicopter, and just basically they give him
human compass
artifact to use to channel his shine capabilities. To try to find Pennywise, and but like you just said, Pennywise found him. He was open for it. He was looking for it. And I don't want. We'll go back to Oscar Isaac's character in Apocalypse. When X-Men Apocalypse, when he says, "Thank you for letting me in." It's kind of the same thing. That's the first thing I thought of was like, "Dang, that's genius." You go looking for trouble, and trouble's going to find you.
It does absolutely make sense, though, why someone like with the shine would be more sensitive to Pennywise, because it's like they're supernaturally
absolutely
got stuff going on.
And using that artifact, that we find out earlier in the episode that had belonged to, ended up being like the general of this whole military base, which is really cool. But it just in the presence of Pennywise. Yeah, the gal had used the slingshot to shoot a version of Pennywise that was tormenting the kid, so it has kind of the the power to it, but just the fact it was in his presence holds so much feelings of Pennywise in it, that it's able to use it to find him in the world. So I was like, man, that's pretty cool stuff. That's good writing.
Yeah. And the Native American kid that they teased for episode 4, Dick Halloran sits down with him.
Is it the younger one?
Yeah, the younger. I don't know if it's the grandson or if it's her son.
I think it might be her. He called her auntie, but I don't know if it's her nephew, or if that's just like a term of endearment. But yeah.
And my thing is too. I was telling Jessica, because once again, I need to go back and reread The Shining as well, because ancestry wise, if you use the shine ability on one of somebody that's connected to that family line, how far back can you go?
You can go forward, so I'm assuming you can go back.
Yeah, you can go back.
Yeah, so. yeah, exactly.
And
I think so too.
And then of course, I don't think Dick Halloran is got a little tease of what they're dealing with and stuff like that too. Is could Pennywise? He has the ability, and we find that out in episode 3 as well with the general when he says, I don't remember anything, and then I come back to Derry, and I start remembering everything little by little. And the thing about it is too, does Pennywise have the ability against people that have the shine? You can't see the future. Can he block you from doing that? So it's just there's so many questions. Hopefully they get answered. But it's so cool sitting here talking about it. I'm like, Dick Halloran being in there, somebody has the shine now. This is just a theory on my part, and me and Jessica talked about it earlier today. Jovan Adipo, who plays Leroy Hannanen, General Hannanen, and all that stuff, this is a guy that even the journal says, I've been searching for somebody like you for a very long time. He has no fear. So that is a really good weapon to use against Pennywise.
I have so many questions. I cannot. Yeah. First of all, I don't feel like that's really possible, but whatever. I'll check my brain. It's a show. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, why does the general know that, and then he apparently doesn't know that he can't harness Pennywise in such a way? Why does he know that the fear aspect is so important?
Yeah. So, yeah, I just he says something too. He's there's something that's been buried in Derry for a long time.
Yeah, I'm how does he know that?
And yeah, so it's I was telling Jessica too. I was okay, so if the general left, then why would he personally outside the, what do you want to call that? The outside the Pennywise zone of getting your mind wiped, how would he get a military group together to go back to Derry?
Well, I mean, I can maybe even check that. Like I told you, like, because it explains in the beginning of the episode that the general's dad was in the military, so he got, like, shipped out. So, I mean, there was a military base prior to him coming back. So maybe he just happened to be stationed back and then started remembering things.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I have many questions about what he knows and what he doesn't know and how he knows it.
Yep. And, but no, sorry, Chad, you have something to add?
No, I'm just, I'm following along with you because, if you think about the original series, and then the one that came out most recently, Chapter 1 and 2, when they leave Derry, it kind of wipes them, but as soon as they get back, they do start to get some of those memories back. So imagine there was a military base when he was a kid there, and that's why he was there, and that's why he ended up in the woods, and he ended up, meeting Pennywise there, and then at some point gets restationed back there years later and starts to have those memories flooding back in a little bit, or a little over time. But I don't know. That's a very good question.
Well, then I'm like, she obviously told him something when they exited the woods that we're not privy to, the audience wasn't privy to. So I'm like, Why is he playing stupid with her, and why does she believe him? Like, many questions.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And then in episode 2, focus on episode 2, like, once again, my worries in the first episode of the creativity. I'm like, is there going to be creativity? Is there going to be new horror and all that stuff? And, man, so there's a scene, and I don't know if you can look the little girl's name up, but there's this little girl that, you get hints that her mother had passed away during her birth and all that stuff.
Within the show, her name's Ronnie.
And she's awesome too. I love that little girl. But once again, I have it in my notes right here. I'm not getting attached to any of these kids. Because I'm just like, you could bite it in the next second. So I'm not getting attached. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm like, I really like these kids, but nope, you're not getting me. So she's awesome. So anyways, it's so awesome. It's like something out of Nightmare on Elm Street. She, her bed sheets go over her, and then it turns into like human skin. And I was just like, ugh. And then you realize that she is inside her mother's stomach. Like, Pennywise is obviously replicating that she's inside the stomach. And then, like, what do you call that?
She's in the uterus.
Yeah.
Yes, she's in utero,
placenta liquid and all that stuff.
Amniotic fluid.
Yeah, and just spills out into the floor and then looks down and the umbilical cord is attached to her still. And it is some of the most brutal, most effed up, just creative stuff.
It's very Nightmare on Elm Street, in my opinion.
In the most horrific way, but it's genius. I was like, my creativity worry went out the window when that happened. I was just like, wow, this is some terrifying stuff. And then, what was it, so basically you got to think of, there's this mouth that represents the stomach.
I think it's more so the vagina.
And it was
it's sucking her in by the placenta, by the umbilical cord,
and it's like a mouth. And then the mouth opens up, and it gives this really cool. Once again, you don't fully see Pennywise yet, but it opens up this mouth, and you see the yellow eyes of Pennywise is in the mouth, and it's like
the dead. It's
and it's basically just reeling her in like a fish. Like, I'm gonna eat you. So
it's terrifying.
Oh, yeah, the umbilical cord is gigantic, and so as she's getting, dragged into the big chomping mouth with the eyeballs in it, which is terrible, and the wonky teeth, 1,000 of them in that mouth, she has to chew through the umbilical cord just to keep from getting sucked into the giant mouth bed dead mom creature that's in her room. So it's
I don't know what's up with all the childbirth creepiness in those 2 episodes.
What is happening?
Yeah, I don't know.
And
who had a traumatic experience?
And kudos to the actress as well, the little girl, because I found out too behind the scenes and stuff like that. The Chris Chalk who plays Dick Halloran, he said he thought that they went in and did like basically when you see her trying to like panic and crawl away, it's like very like like a bull rush, balls to the wall. Like, she is terrified, trying to crawl away and all that stuff. He thought that they like sped that up in post. Like, it looks like it's like a panic crawl away, but she's like slipping the placenta, liquid everywhere and all that stuff. So it looks like she's like panicking and stuff. Like, he thought that they like did that in post to like give that more panic rush, and it's like very uncanny. Come to find out, it was just naturally that girl. So she's just so committed into it and all that stuff. So just really kudos to her acting performance, because she looks absolutely terrified out of her mind. And obviously, as an audience member viewing this, you're terrified for her. And it's such a great scene. It's horrifying, but it's such a great scene.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And but no, and then of course, you know, once again, the creativity doesn't slow down. Is Pickle Dad?
Oh my gosh, Pickle Dad.
I honestly think what was more scary about that part is more so how she's getting like boxed in and like chased through this grocery store.
Yes.
It's also giving very Nightmare on Elm Street vibes.
Yep.
Like, and just all of a sudden you turn around and like there's no way out, and like she's like stuck on all four sides in like the grocery aisle.
Yep. And I literally had that in my notes too. I said the set piece creativity of like the horror hasn't hit yet, but the teasing of the horror is happening. Like, you can literally see customers peeking around
like
the corner,
the creepy people.
and, like,
oh my
Pennywise
god,
smiling and stuff like that. And we, if you want to say Bill Skarsgård, you do actually get a voiceover from Bill Skarsgård. You can hear it. It says, "Hey, crazy," and all that stuff, and it's Bill Skarsgård's voice. So it was really cool.
Oh, definitely, yeah. That scene, just the claustrophobic effect of, you know, her everywhere she went, she was trapped, and then the sound work was so good, and then obviously we get the payoff with the you know, being in the pickle section, which we didn't touch on it, but the whole theory behind it was that her dad worked at a pickling place and he died in the machinery, and so all the rumors around town is that he was pickled in a bunch of jars. So we get to see kind of what that looked like.
That
you know,
fear,
not that you ever thought that was on your horror movie bingo card for 2025.
Well, and then like I can't remember, like, I know she blames herself that happened, like he went back there for something, but I don't remember if she saw it, and so he's just like messing with her so terribly. Like,
exactly. Yep.
Yep. And Chad described it as well as like the thing about different body parts that got caught in the machine and then put into pickle jars. She goes up to one of the pickle jars and her dad's head's inside it.
Oh my god.
And then she's like, "Hey, sweetie, come give daddy a kiss," and all that stuff. And then the pickle jars start falling off the shelves and smashing open, and then it ends up forming this octopus slug-looking pickle dad. And he's like, you know, and it's some of the most creative stuff, like so disturbing.
Definitely. It was amazing, and you didn't figure he was going to form into some type of like the octopus kind of squid creature, but he did, and then you get that sound design of that kind of the sloshing, squishing kind of coming toward her, and so then she's cowering in fear and screaming, and then boom, it's all gone. And then everybody thinks, wow, this girl's gone crazy again.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that either. Like, after that happened to her dad, she ended up in like the kitty psych ward, it sounds like. Well, and then they took her back after this, and she like witnessed everything in the movie theater, so she didn't want to tell the cops the truth about what happened, because she knew that she was going to get sent back to the kitty psych, and then she ended up going back anyway after this.
That's right. Yep.
And then,
terrible.
Yeah, because like it's what do you call that? Like almost at that Candyman and Nightmare on Elm Street. Obviously, you know, they're not going to believe you that, you know, some crazy guy with a claw hand that came out and they'll try to attack you and all that stuff. And then same thing with Candyman, where you're just constantly like, people are thinking crazy, and they do such a good job with that too, and like put her back in the psych ward. And the mom sucks in this show.
Well, even the police were threatening her with it. Like,
exactly.
If she didn't like give false testimony that, you know, Ronnie's dad was involved, that they were gonna, you know,
put her back in the bin.
Yep.
Looney Bin.
I know the parents in this show suck. Even
Yeah.
in the 80s part of it though, 1 and 2, like they just suck. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what brings me back into another question. I'm like, do the kids like who grow up and survive remember this if they stay in Derry?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I feel that the response would be quite different. Like,
And that makes me wonder too. It's like, is that Pennywise like preying on the kids through the parents and things like that? But it's crazy because like even we see with like the Losers Club in 2017, I'm like, really like besides maybe Billy's parents and all that stuff, it just like it's.
they
all the
seem
parents,
rather terrible.
Yeah, all the other parents suck, man.
Honestly, most of the people in the whole town suck, though.
Yeah.
I think it's indifference.
Yeah.
I think that's what he pervades into this town is just indifference. So she's Ronnie's, was it Ronnie? No, the other one. The military guy, his wife was at the butcher shop, was picking up stuff, and she looks out the window, and a kid's getting beat up on the sidewalk.
Yeah, she's awesome, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys, and all the other people just walking by. It's imagine how much easier it is to strike fear into these children when they can't even go to their parents to say, like, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole indifference of the town, and if they move away, are the parents the same? I mean,
Yeah.
is it just that, or like James was saying, that because they're still here, it's what makes them who they are, and once again, it makes it just easier for Pennywise to do what he does.
Because I'm like, we have a couple theories, assuming any of these kids make it out of this season alive.
Yeah.
Like,
And the thing too is we've talked about it many times before too. I think a lot of people, I put down in my notes is I think a lot of people forget that, and I've seen it with the movies as well. Is a lot of people forget that Pennywise is actually a shape-shifting dimensional alien monster from another dimension, and when it comes to Earth, it preys it, and that's the reason why it takes so many different forms. Yes, the main classic look that we're so used to is the Pennywise clown and stuff that he takes over, and hopefully we'll find out in other episodes and stuff like that why he did that and who he took over and why he took that identity and all that stuff through the season, obviously, but no, he's like a shape-shifting monster. So you see it throughout the series so far, even 3 episodes in, is, he takes on the form in the first episode is that mutated baby. And then, him sitting there with the kid having the pacifier in his mouth. Oh, baby. Everybody calling him baby and picking on him and all that stuff. And then he transforms into literally a mutated baby.
He'll do whatever is going to scare you the most.
Exactly. And, that's so it's one of those things I think a lot of people keep forgetting, like, oh, where's the clown, where's Pennywise and all that stuff. It's like, first and foremost, you got to know that he's a shape-shifting monster.
I think that Pennywise is just his favorite costume to don.
Yeah, and you'll find out why too, because there's no way that they're gonna skip over why he takes on that.
No,
film.
I'll lose my mind. I will actually lose it.
But no, we going on from episode 2, we go into episode 3, which we already talked about before in our spoiler-free discussion and stuff. This was my least favorite episode. Like I said, I really appreciated the groundwork.
It was my least favorite, but the groundwork.
Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, and and also I had a problem with the filming aspect as well as for the skeleton man. I thought the CGI looked really kind of rough on him running through the woods or whatever. It looked a little too CGI, didn't blend in with the environment as well as I wanted it to be. Now, when they lit the match at the circus and that dude with the missing eye and all that stuff, I thought that was creepy as balls. But kind of that creepiness kind of went away when you're just like, oh, this looks like a CGI slosh mess.
I don't even think I even registered that. It's the other one that I took issue with.
Yeah, and then the graveyard chase scene. Now, me and Jessica talked about it, Chad, and the only thing I would have tweaked.
I would have tweaked many things.
Yeah, tweaked many things. Like, one, why I don't understand, because we watched the behind the scenes and stuff. Why would you film this in front of a blue screen? I'm like, why didn't you just put the kid's bike on a motorcade and just have them go and take the motorcade through, for safe reasons, for the kids and stuff like that, just have it on the motorcade going through that actual, like, natural set graveyard.
You needed that set.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just remember me and James literally locked eyes when we were watching this. We were like, ugh.
Yeah, it's
that looks bad.
Yeah, the blue screen part where they're riding in that fog and stuff, it's rough to say the least.
It's giving E.T.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, you said Goosebumps, and it definitely gave me like Casper the Friendly Ghost vibes, where
but not in a way that you liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want that in a Pennywise.
Yeah. That's so funny. And then, like, I didn't care for, like, the ghost children.
Yeah, the astral projection ghost.
I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
One of them suddenly was upside down, coming down in front of you.
You just could have done the same concept much cooler.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the build up going into it. I thought was a lot of fun. I did like that Jesus statue turned and smiled.
That was cool.
I was like, I thought that was really cool.
That's always nice, yeah.
Now, if I was in charge of the filmmaking aspect, and once again, it's their show, so they're going to do, obviously, they're doing their thing. But I would have had one of the kids, like, fall off, like, wreck. Like, get spooked by something, and then they wrecked off the bike, and then had, like, corpses, almost like a zombie film.
Like a
and have them
moment.
come out of the ground and stuff like that, and doing like practical zombie kids and stuff like that. I think that would have been more terrifying than what the floating Goosebumps ghost basically is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, I mean, you got a graveyard. You've already established, like, the ground is opening up and it's like lava or whatever in it. It's all glowing. You got these zombie-esque looking ghost creatures, and no one fell to the ground and got, like, pulled into the ground or anything like that. It was just a shame. It needed something like that needed to happen. You needed an homage to Night of the Living Dead or something in there that
would have been cool.
Would have made sense, and trying to pull one of those kids like into the ground, I think would have been a way to go.
Yeah, and but no, like I said, then we get to the ending of the episode, which I really liked. But once again, me and Jessica talked about, like, I thought that was a good moment to
when they're developing the film.
I was like, that was a good moment. Like, you could have done a horror moment with that. We were talking about, like, I thought it would have been cool if, like, the final scene was, yes, I thought it was really cool when they said it's a clown, and then obviously, it's the first sighting of Pennywise. Obviously, it's through this, like, blurry photo and all that stuff, but it was really cool. Yeah. But I thought it would have been cool if all the pictures they just developed burst into flames.
They should. I mean, it happened in the other in the original series one, when they were doing something else, something similar happened. Or at least the very least burst into flames, but secondly, even like a hand come out of one of them.
Yeah, we were saying, like, we were scared because it was like in the first chapter movie, like, he jumps out of the projector. I was expecting something like that. I was terrified.
Yeah,
that's the first thing that came to my mind when they're talking about they're going to develop pictures of these creatures. I'm like, oh crap!
Don't do that.
Gonna appear.
Yeah, and I thought it was like the pictures are like the water was going to start boiling or something like that and destroy the photos, and then the other photos that were up to dry were going to burst into flames because Pennywise would erase any evidence that he exists.
Absolutely, so, absolutely he would. I mean, there was a couple missed opportunities there for sure.
Maybe something will happen to those photos in the next episode.
Yep.
Oh,
so,
if they got to show those to somebody, they're definitely not going to have the same pictures on them. We know that.
Yeah.
So, but no, like I said, I liked it. Like I said, there's some tweaks I probably would have done myself, but like I said, it's it's what we got. So, but they said it's a clown. So now they know that Pennywise the clown and stuff like that is out there, and so I thought that was really cool. And then obviously, them now seeing the clown will probably implement in the back of their mind, like, oh crap, there's a clown out there. So that fear factor is in the back of their mind. So that's when, once again, I love that the show isn't blowing its load right at the beginning. Is we're going to Bill Skarsgård is Pennywise. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we don't want to keep him on the shelf forever, but at the same time, we are building up the suspense.
We are here for Pennywise, okay?
Yep, and then when you go with the horror aspect, and Jessica got to it a little bit before too. It's like, they're diving into like the discrimination of African Americans and the military, and also in society of the '60s, and Native Americans, their long history of like land being ripped away from them, and me and Jessica have a theory about this, Chad. Is they made a permit, what do you call it, like a lease or a permit or something like that?
Like, they put it like a cease and desist for the military to start digging their land.
Exactly. And so there has been, and this is just a theory on my part from trailers I've seen and all that stuff of, what do you call that, where it's like the season ahead. There we go. The season ahead trailers is they show that the military ends up like digging up in the middle of the field where they're digging through and doing these dig sites, is they find some kind of capsule looking like stone. And me and Jessica had a theory that you seen at the beginning of the episode 3 that Pennywise couldn't leave that woods line. And she's like, don't worry, it can't go beyond that. And it makes me wonder, is the Native Americans have like basically beacons of rituals or some kind of, they've crafted something to where it can keep him contained to a certain point he can't come across. And now that the military is there and they're digging up this crap, they're going to mess it up. They're going to be like...
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. They're definitely going to do that. Yeah, they've done a good job of containing him somehow. We don't know how yet, but I think that's pretty much spot on.
I have questions about that as well. Like, because basically we know that he crash landed, and that's like the site of the well and the site of the house on Nebel. So, like, was that woods, like, there... And then, like, they built, like, the house and the tunnels and everything on top of that woods that they basically took from the Native Americans. And that's why he's able to terrorize so freely now. Like, I have many questions.
Yep. And then...
And
then we talked about it a little bit before. It was like the nephew or the grandson or the son or something like that, the Native American teenager in the next episode is, can it go back all the way to like family bloodlines and stuff like that using the shine that Dick Halloran can do? And obviously, we know in It Chapter 2, we learn about the ritual of Chud that years ago or decades ago that they tried to defeat Pennywise themselves and try and do the ritual of Chud, and then they all perished. So we could possibly see that, obviously with Dick Halloran using the shine, you could see things like that. There's just so many possibilities, genius crafted possibilities of bringing in the shine from Stephen King. So
that and like the Native Americans seem to know so much about him, and like the children know too about it, obviously, because she knew not to go in there and why not to go in there, etc. But like the children in town clearly don't have this information. Their parents don't have it, and they're not telling their kids not to, whatever. Yeah. I have questions.
Yeah, we'll find out that it's some way that the Native American group here has been able to retain their memories of Pennywise, have been able to contain him in some way to keep him from...
Off their land, yeah.
Yeah, off their land. And then, they listen to their children. Like, if their kids come to them and say, there's this crazy creature chasing me, they believe it.
Yeah.
And they work to stop it from happening. So we just, us white folks, we don't do that. We just like, you're crazy. Go to the nut house.
Right.
Stop talking about pickles and get out of here.
It is, I'm like, I have so many questions.
Yeah. But no, I'm super excited for the season ahead. Like I said, I think this is, and I love the first It one from 2017. I have my vocal problems with Chapter 2 from 2019.
But when we rewatched it, I actually found that I liked it better than I thought I did.
I still have the same flaws, the annoyance of that.
Yeah, I get that, but there was some very good moments.
Yeah, there is. I still think Bill Hader makes that movie.
I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah, Bill Hader. He, and I like the rest of the cast is great, but Bill, man, that one scene where he's out kind of on the lawn and he looks up the big Paul Bunyan statue, and
Yeah.
Pennywise is on his shoulder, and he says, I sure have missed you. And he's like doing this weird thing with his voice, and it's just like, oh, it's so disturbing. But Bill,
Well, Richie's my
the look on
favorite
his
character in
So
both
good.
films.
Yeah.
Like, Richie's my favorite in both.
Yep.
face. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, me and Jessica have theories that who could be like the great grandparents or grandparents of Richie in the series.
We noticed that the one kid's name is Rich.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. And he's very funny. But also, I don't think he's in every episode, so I'm a little worried.
Yep. And then what was it? The little girl that sucks, man, is that wears the glasses. That's Lily's friend.
Friend,
Oh, man,
in quotation
gal.
marks.
Yeah, she sucks.
I'm like, girl, be so for real right
But
now.
obviously, it's very lazy to be like, oh, she's wearing glasses. That's probably Richie's grandmother or something. But you never know with these series.
Well, I think about I think it was episode 2 when they're walking down the hallway and she's with her gaggle of friends, and the kid is like all staring at her because he's enamored with her.
Yeah.
And she turns and it gets this glint in her glasses, like this orange light, and she looks like she's got like Pennywise eyes.
yeah.
Oh, that's creepy.
Like a brief second as she turns, it looks super creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
there's
just-
something going on with her eyes, and then you can see in the trailers for the next episode. So I'm like, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, something's up.
Yep. So, but no, I'm really excited for the season ahead, and I'm really glad to hear that they're doing they've already got green lighted for a second season, and
It's good.
they given that they do have the blueprint and a structured path done, I don't probably secretly they probably green lighted season 3 as well, and that's really cool too because it shows that Andy and Barbara being part of this property, and then also Bill wanting to be part of the series as a TV show and stuff like that, and he's a pretty big actor, so it was really cool to see him come back to the property, and when we see him come back to the property. But obviously we've seen pictures and all that stuff that he's coming back as Pennywise. But that was the point I was trying to make is I love the 2017 I love it to death. I really enjoyed the 2019. I have very big problems with it, but I have enjoyment in there as well. But this is the most brutal version and the best version that we've ever got of Pennywise. On a cinematic screen. It's so good.
Yep, definitely. I mean, the way they just pushed the envelope on the effects and how gruesome they can be, it just goes to. I think we're going to see some terrible, terrible things over the next few episodes when he's really revealed. We've seen some stills from, I don't know if it's just pressers or what, but there's a shot of him where he's looking at the camera and it's like orange in the background, but he's just covered in blood. Head to toe, it's like
he's eating
that's gonna be
somebody.
terrible.
I can't believe that they gave us a circus with no Pennywise. I'm still mad about it.
So,
Did they? Are we sure?
Yeah,
There was no Pennywise there.
They hinted it a little bit, but nope.
yeah. Well, the thing is too. I wonder if it was a tease. There's a little girl that's at the circus that's in clown makeup
With balloons. There was balloons.
balloons, and it makes me wonder. In It Chapter 2, there was she's like, my father was in charge of the circus and stuff like that, old lady, and it makes me wonder if that's that little girl. And
Yeah.
and
I feel like it's mathematically not possible, but sure.
but who knows?
That's true.
It said it was 1905, so it could be. So
That would make her 110 years old.
yeah, but he took on the form of the old lady.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
so it's like, so who knows? But I thought that was really cool. But no, the crossing over of The Shining into it in the same world is just genius, and I think it just organically works. That's the reason why I think it's so genius, because I'm like, yeah, this could work. And I was talking to Josh Miner down at the comic shop, and I was like, yeah, so sorry to give you a spoiler, but they cross over a Stephen King property. You want to guess what it is? And he was like, I don't know, it can't be Cujo. I'm like, no, it's not Cujo. And he's like, it's not Mist. And I'm just like, no, it's not the Mist. And he's like, well, it can't be The Shining, can it? I'm like, I don't know, can it? And he was like, that's dope. He's like, they say like, so even I got geeked out by it too. So it's so much fun that they actually, and it's genius. I honestly think it's genius that they did that.
Yeah, very, very clever. I love the move.
But no, to close out, do you guys is there any certain things that happened in the first 3 episodes that maybe we didn't cover that you guys wanted to shout out real quick before I close this one out?
Oh, Stephen King cameo. We didn't talk about that.
Which part?
The cameo.
Are you sure you're not thinking of chapter 2?
I am thinking of chapter 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like,
I thought he was in the store. No, but you're right. It's the Native American lady that has the store in the
exactly.
show.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, the furniture store that the lady goes and visits. Yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't have watched chapter 2 so close to the TV show because.
Well, I saw his. Well, they might have just had him on there as a writer because I was looking at the IMDb and he's on there.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like
he could
pop.
He'll pop up.
Yeah. Episode 3, Andy Muschietti made a cameo. He was the piano player with the cigar and stuff in the circus.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, the little freak house or whatever you call that, or what do you call it? Like what do you call those? Like
a fun house.
Fun house. There we go. And but yeah, he was the piano player and all that stuff. So that was a really cool little cameo by him.
Well, then there was also a funhouse in the It Chapter 2 as well. I was like, what is happening?
But no, I think the show is a blast so far. I'm having a really good time with it. But once again, I have to temper expectations. I do this with every single TV show. Can it stick the landing? Like I said, we get introduced to these shows all the time, and it starts out so well. And so many Disney Plus shows that I think start out so well and crash and burn. It's just, I don't think people, and then obviously we've seen with Game of Thrones, like how that series crashed and burned in the later seasons, and I'm just like, that's the reason why I think Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is so good, because those are like series that like stick the landing, and it's so hard to do, and
it is.
I gotta temper expectations because I'm having a blast with the series, and I can't wait. It's been a long time since where I'm like craving the next episode, and I love the bi-weekly stuff. I know people like to binge stuff. It's like shotgunning a freaking bottle of wine and being like, all right, cool, season's over, when's the next one coming out? No, I like the bi-weekly because it's what we're doing right now or weekly, sorry, yeah.
I think I like it better when they do it weekly, but also I don't like it because I do want to binge it.
Yeah. It's like the questions are killing you. You're just like, oh, I want to get that answer. So I think it's just more satisfying when you finally get it.
And that's why it has to make sense. The ending
absorb
has
it
to
a
make
little better
sense.
that way too.
Exactly.
Because, we've all binged a series and then realized afterwards, like, man, I don't remember a lot of that, So it's just human nature, but I'm enjoying it as well, and I like the format. And I've talked about for years that when they throw the whole season out and you can binge it real quick, that you lose a lot of what makes makes series, whether it's television, movies, whatever, great is the landing. Letting it soak into your brain for a week, and then you get to the next one. You're just like, oh, I'm so excited for it, like you just said. And I was. I turned on HBO Max yesterday. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to watch it. And I was like, oh, crap, I can't watch till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting there just watching the clock count down till I could actually watch it. So and then I got too tired because I'm old.
Well, look, for example, too, is like Stranger Things. It's like it's literally they drop it all at once. And then you see in season 4, they split it in 2 parts, and then the viewership went gigantic, and then the 4-week gap that was between there, everybody was like, oh, what's going to happen theory-wise, all that stuff, and it kept going. But if you drop a season all the time, yes, it's talked about for like a week, and then everybody's seen it, and then they move on with their lives. This one, same thing with like when you do a weekly episode, you have like literally almost 2 months of people talking about this TV show, and then the same thing too, and it makes makes it feel less hurtful that you watch a show and now you got to wait 2 years. You watched it all at once in a week, and now you gotta wait freaking 2 years for the next season to come out.
I don't know. Like, on the off side of that, is like, I agree with all that, but I will say when they don't stick the landing, and you've made me wait constantly for it, and now I'm extra pissed off about it, because I have come up with infinite more possibilities on how you could have made this great, and it sucked.
Yeah.
Because every time I think about the last season of Game of Thrones, like, do you ever just think about the last season of Game of Thrones and get angry? Because I do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You should have just let me write it, because that's how bad it was.
Yeah. And that's what I mean too. I was gonna get that too. Is like that, but the bad side of that is you just spent 2 months of your life, waiting for the show, and then you get to the end. It's very disappointing. So that's the only bad side of that. But once again, how many TV shows have we've had that have been weekly and all that stuff? Even sitcoms, 24 episodes stretches over like a 4-month period. So I just, but no, I'm really excited. I'm having a really good time, and I can't wait for the next episode. And I love that Dick Halloran is in this. I love how everything's designed. I love the brutality. I love that it doesn't hold its punches. I love the crafted love, even though it's brutal. I do love the horror love that's been put into this series. So I'm having a really good time, and I can't wait for the rest of this season. So, but
ditto. Yep, absolutely.
But all right, so that's all we had for the spoiler talk for HBO's It. Welcome to Derry, and that's all we had for this episode 3 of Movie Nerd Talk. Once again, everybody comment below your thoughts on, of course, we give our spoiler-free reviews, but give us your reviews and your thoughts on the new Bugonia movie by Yorgos Lanthimos, the Chainsaw Man, the movie, and then, of course, Predator Badlands, and then Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. That's up on Netflix right now. Make sure to comment your thoughts about that below. And then also, make sure you give us your spoiler-free, or you can give us your spoiler thoughts of the first 3 episodes of HBO's Welcome to Derry. Make sure to comment them below. Very special thank you to Jessica and Chad. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me for this episode of Movie Nerd Talk. I really appreciate it, guys.
Yep, it was great.
And then once again, I wanted to plug that I do have, it's up right now on the Movie Nerd James YouTube channel, is my Instagram live interview with writer and director James Devaney and producer Sarah Biko for their new badass short film One Click. It is up now on the channel, and then the short film premieres officially for public release on November 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube at One Click Film, and that is click with a K, at One Click Film on YouTube. And I'm so excited for that. And once again, a very special thank you to James Devaney and Sarah Biko. It was very generous of them, and also I want to say thank you to everybody that's given the kind words and support of friends and family, and then also the movie community, because that was my first time doing that, and everybody has been so complimentary about it, and really cool to see everyone's response and your kind words. I really appreciate it. It meant a lot, because I was a nervous wreck, and then I did it. And of course Sarah and James too, a big shout out to them, because they were cool as fuck, and I'm a very small channel and stuff like that, so for them to do that for me, it was very generous, and I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate everybody's kind words. I really appreciate it. But anyways, that is it, guys, for this episode of Movie Nerd Talk. Thank you in advance for your epic support, for liking this video and subscribing and following the Movie Nerd James YouTube channel and Instagram at Movie Nerd James. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you later, movie nerds. Later.